Lady fern, aka Atherium filix femina, is a common perennial species of fern native to the continental US among other places. It is most often referred to as common lady fern or subarctic lady fern. Its leaves are bright green with a fine textured lacy appearance, and single fronds can measure up to 1 foot wide and 3 feet in length. Each frond has 24 or so short leaflets with their arrangement in sub-opposite positions. Lady fern has brown fuzzy scales on the stems, sometimes compared to women's legs hairs. Along the back of each leaflet are brown sori that are small and curved like a lady's eyebrows. Lady fern is often confused with spiny wood fern, which looks very similar but have a round sori as opposed to curved sori. Another point of confusion is that lady fern is doubly compound, while spiny wood fern is 3 times compound. Lady fern is deciduous and will drop its leaves with the first frost. It reproduces through rhizomes and spores. The lady fern is native to many regions in the world and is widely popular in North America, Europe, parts of Russia, and East Asia. Its native habitat favors moist regions including forest, woodland, wet meadow, prairie, field, swamp, marsh, and lake shores. It commonly grows in the understory of western red cedar, western hemlock, Douglas fir, white spruce, and black spruce. Lady fern are commonly found in both the wild and ornamental landscape settings. Traditionally, the lady fern is an important plant for foods, medicine, and supplies. The roots and bulbs have been eaten by certain tribes. More prominently, the fiddleheads are eaten in the early spring when they are 7 to 15 centimeters tall. They have been boiled, baked, or eaten raw with grease. Fern fronds become toxic with age, and only young fiddleheads should be eaten. There's controversy over whether they are edible raw or not due to their contents of thiaminase. Fiddlehead ferns enter the westernized culinary scene as a great spring addition to any cooked vegetable dish. Like most ferns, the lady fern has clear licorice notes. Recipes for fiddlehead stir-fry, quiche, pickled fiddleheads, and many other can be found on Pinterest and other online platforms. Fiddleheads can be prepared by steaming, boiling, sautéing, baking, or blanching and marinating as we tried in class. Before cooking, rub off the bitter brown chaff on the stalk and rinse them with water. Fiddlehead ferns are an excellent source of fiber, vitamin A, and a good source of vitamin C, and are heart healthy. The lady fern has been used by many Pacific Northwestern tribes to make medicine that addresses a myriad of conditions, from easing body pains to assisting labor. Tea was made from the leaves to help urination and to stop breast pain caused by childbirth. Roots were dried and ground into a dust to help heal wounds. Oil from the roots of lady fern has been used since the 1st century AD to get rid of worms. But an overdose can cause weakness, a coma, and often blindness. Lady fern has been used for medicinal purposes in regions such as Italy and Iran as a cough treatment. The leaves of lady fern were used by Aboriginal people for laying out or covering food, especially berries for drying. As demonstrated in class, they can also be part of fern layering in a pit fire. They were also used to wipe fish before baking or to use and make red paint. In westernized culture, the biggest technical application of lady ferns is in landscaping. Many modern landscapers consider lady fern a great selection for rock gardens, woodland gardens, shaded border fronts, or along streams and ponds. Many people esteem its fragile nature and delicate beauty. Beyond this, fern species has formed an important supplementary source of livestock fodder in regions such as Norway. Ferns play a prominent role in many narratives, both in native and non-native cultures. According to some Native American tribes, finding this fern in the wild means that water is nearby. Fern woman is a prominent supernatural being mentioned in various Native American stories. In Western folklore, early Greek botanists puzzled at how and why the fern existed and reproduced without flowers or seeds. By medieval times, when witchcraft flourished, it was thought that the fern seeds existed but were invisible, and that these invisible seeds imparted to their owner the power of resisting magical charms and incantations. Those who possessed these invisible seeds would themselves become invisible. In Baltic, Estonian, and Slavic mythology, the fern holds a magic flower called the fern flower. According to the myth, this flower blooms for a very short time on the eve of the summer solstice. It brings fortune to the person who finds it. Nowadays, in some parts of the US, ferns are thought to have magical properties. For example, smoke from a burning fern can scare away snakes, or a dried fern can be thrown on hot coals and smoke will exorcise evil spirits. Lady fern plays an important ecological role. Grizzly bears, elk, and deer eat the fronds of lady fern, but otherwise it is not a major food source for most animals. Fiddleheads are often a food source for insects such as grasshoppers and snails. They provide shelter, shade, erosion, protection, chemical sequestration, and microhabitats that serve other species. Reaching up to 5 feet tall, the plant provides nesting and refugia habitat for birds and small mammals in the summer and fall. Certain species of spider roll the tips of the fronds to create a safe place for laying their eggs and raising their young. Throughout the year, lady fern stabilizes soil and reduces erosion. As an early successional species, lady fern builds soil where none exist after disaster. Further, they filter water with an extensive root system. Since they're so popular, fiddleheads are commonly overharvested. It's recommended to harvest them from healthy crowns that can sustain picking, with at least 4 fiddleheads emerging from them. Picking no more than 1/2 of emerged fiddleheads from each crown is important. The U.S. Forest Service requires a free use permit to harvest on public land. This permit will allow you to gather up to 5 pounds of fiddlehead ferns per household per year. Alternatively, you can use a charge use permit which allows 20 pounds per year. In general, lady fern does not have many current or future threats because it readily forms masses of individuals. It also has no serious insect or disease problems, and it will handle disturbance more readily than fern species that are typically found in deep wood settings. Sometimes, fern roots and young fiddleheads grow close to the surface and can easily be damaged by trampling. More broadly, ferns currently face a threat caused by many humans' disturbances, such as changes in land use and fire. To help future populations, you can easily split lady ferns by cutting the rhizomes and connecting them. Add your split ferns to a new area, take it to a community plant exchange, or gift it to a neighbor. By doing this, you are adding to the beauty and value of your community.